Hello, you guys. I'm Melissa. Today we're gonna be doing the review for Ready to Love Season 4, Episode 4. I think so. Okay, so the first thing I wrote down was Troy's trash and has issues. Okay, Troy is trash and he has big issues. Okay, he might also be a compulsive liar. He enjoys treating women like play toys and thinks they like it. Let me tell you, in the era of the Me Too movement, Troy should be really careful about how he approaches women because these behaviors, like somebody could easily flip it around on him and claim sexual assault because he's all up in these people's personal spaces, kissing them. They didn't ask to be kissed. I don't think they wanted to be kissed. But women are, programmed to be accommodating so as to not create extra drama, especially when it comes to unwarranted touches and stuff like that. So that's why I guess a lot of men say that, oh, the woman was fine with it. No, the woman is not fine with it. And I think he understands not verbal cues. I think he understands physical cues because I remember when he was talking to Tommy, he stated that Amber didn't like the kissing, and he stated also that it wasn't because she verbally told him that, but it was because of her body language. So he is very, very knowledgeable about one's body language and what it means, but yet still he still chooses to cross those boundaries, I suppose, to see if he could get away with it. And these women were having none of it. So I believe it was Alexis who had the date with him, and he immediately kisses her on her forehead. Then she tells him tells him about a lot of the women's complaints about the touching and the telling every woman the same thing. And he told Alexis told him, like, for example, you kissed me on the forehead a while ago, and he acted like he had no idea what Alexis was talking about. And I was like, does this man have some type of disease? Does he have Alzheimer's? Because you literally just kissed this woman on her forehead, but now you're claiming that you didn't. Then he claims that's not the type of person he is. It's not about saying that's not the type of person you are. It's about showing that's not the type of person you are. And so far, you've shown that is exactly the type of person you are. Okay? So anyways, the first date was Venetia and Joel. People say Joel, people say Joel. Like, I'm inclined to say Joel, but I don't know. So it was between him and Venetia. They had initially connected on that first day of meeting. So they connect on children. We all know that Joel is a widowed father of two. His wife died of cancer, and Venetia left a no good man. So she has some children as well. So they bond on children. She sees the joy he has, when talking about his children. And of course, that would always light a spark with any other parent because they understand that joy, So they bond on children. He was talking about, his wife's passing and that he changed a bit because, he said he did a lot of things while he was married, including fixing things around the house, adding things to the house, and so on. So hopefully, because Venetia says she sees no red flags, hopefully he continues on being genuine and being good to Venetia, because if not, we'll hunt him down and deal with him. Okay. Then we have, oh, I also wanted to talk about Venetia's tights. It was nude tights. Girl, I thought you were naked from the torso down. I was like, what is going on with these tights? Not flattering at all. Don't do it again. Those tights were showing all kind of dimples and everything. It was very unflattering. Anyways, we have Alexis, Jason, AJ, Liz. They have a group date. I said, what is Alexis wearing? Because she had a denim coat. She had denim jeans with frills. Then she had thigh-high boots. It was doing a lot and not in a good way. Like, everything was clashing. The frills with the boots, just, it was a complete disaster. It was too much going on. Like, I didn't like it. Anyways, they were competing. So Alexis was with Jason and AJ was with Liz, and AJ and Liz won the competition. The funny thing about Alexis is that she seems super competitive and she lost. So sometimes having her being quiet and showing instead of talking too much actually works, and will probably work better for Alexis moving forward. Anyways, they break off and they start to talk, and AJ and Liz, they connect, so to speak. They say Liz says she vibes with AJ. Um, she spoke to him off the bat about premarital sex, and first of all, the first red flag that, well, the first inclination that he didn't agree was that he didn't quite answer the question and said, yes, I agree with it, or no, I don't agree with it. Instead, put another question on Liz. I hate when people do that. Like, someone is asking you a question, instead of answering the question they asked you, you're asking them another question. What type of communication is that? It just doesn't make sense. Anyways, he eventually answers and says that he does not want to do the premarital sex thing. He already did it before, doesn't want to do it again. Would prefer they explore this. And a lot of people, lots of reviewers were saying that it's funny how he doesn't want girls to be, or women to be, too forward sexually with him, but he's talking about not wanting to save himself for marriage. So it's a bit of a clash, because it seems like you want to get to know a woman to a point, and then you want to sleep with her after that point. Not necessarily that you want to take it to marriage or with the intention of marriage, but you want to explore it prior. So it makes him seem a little bit all over the place. But anyways, like, he says he doesn't want a forward woman or woman that leads with sex. Liz doesn't do that. But you see, he doesn't. Liz is, I guess, another extreme. You know, he doesn't want you to give off sex. He doesn't want you to be too sexual, but he wants you to be a little sexual. He doesn't want to wait for sex. He wants to have it be. He wants to have it before marriage and all these types of things. It's a lot. Men always don't want too much of something. Well, I guess everybody doesn't want too much of something. But anyways, we have AJ and Liz. They don't quite agree on this very crucial and important issue. So I don't think anything will really be of substance moving forward with AJ and Liz. I mean, she will try to make him change his mind, but I highly doubt that he will. When a man has, I suppose, set his mind on exploring the sex part before anything serious happens, or before anything permanent happens, I mean, that's what they want. It's easier convincing a woman to be celibate than convincing a man to be celibate. But anyways, let's move on. Then we have our other conversation, Alexis and Jason. And I made note of Jason's body language. If you look at Jason, Jason is very far away from Alexis. Now, from the very first meeting that they had, I could sense his discomfort. Or I said, yes, discomfort while speaking with Alexis. He just doesn't seem very interested in Alexis. Doesn't seem, almost seems, I don't want to say that word, but a little bit disgusted. Okay, not disgusted, but turned off by her. He's just not interested in her. Like, he's not giving interested energy. When he was speaking to her, he's over here, she's over there, and she's trying to talk to him, and he's just giving me closed off. He's just giving me, I don't want to really open up to you. Like, I don't really trust you. I don't know if I really like you. Like, negative vibes towards Alexis. And I feel like nothing is gonna happen there. Absolutely nothing will happen there. We have another date. We have Chrysanthemum and we have Ronald. Chrysanthemum wants to be a traditional wife and wants to cater to the husband, wants the husband to be a provider, the head of the household. That is exactly up Ronald's values and ideals for his life. So based on that, it may appear that they have a very good connection, very strong connection thus far. A lot of people have Chrysanthemum as their top, but we've only seen Chrysanthemum have a date with one guy. So a lot of us are like kind of not seeing what other people are seeing besides, okay, she looks good and so on, but we haven't seen too much of her interaction with the guys. I suppose we'll see it later. So Chrysanthemum really likes Ronald. And think they hit it off really well. Another date was Amber and Chris. They did the boxing date, very cool. They bonded a little bit on the past history, a little bit. It wasn't even really similar situations, because Amber said that she was adopted and she hadn't seen her sister until recently, her biological sister. She's the only person who, has gone to college and gotten her degrees and done very well for herself. She tells Chris that she's a district attorney, so not any old attorney, not anybody to play with. With Chris and Amber, it seems as if Chris is looking for somebody to take care of him. He doesn't strike me as a very traditional man. He doesn't strike me as someone with traditional values, as it relates to, feminine and masculine roles, or should I say male and female roles within a household. And sometimes it seems as if he is just looking for somebody to be a roommate with. um, I don't really see the connection with Amber, but we're gonna see later on if it truly turns into something. We know that they bonded over the finances thing, which is a big point of contention for him, but there has to be more, and we're gonna wait and see what else they end up having in common, besides finances and stuff like that. um the next person that went on a date, who I almost forgot to speak about, is Stacy and David. So they went out to, well, Stacy invited him to some type of workout gym, some gym, and she was showing him some workouts and stuff. She says that's what she does, it's like her piece, it's like her therapy, so to speak. So she was showing him some moves, and while they were doing that, well, he did come late, which, I mean, I could relate because I come late for everything. I go to. But anyways, they spoke about uh, transparency and privacy within like a married situation, or a serious relationship. And he asked Stacy about what she thought about transparency and stuff like that. And Stacy was like, she doesn't want anybody going through her private things, such as if she has a diary, or if she has her Instagram and Facebook. She doesn't want her partner going through like some type of detective or private investigator. That doesn't is not attractive to her. She doesn't see it as something she'd like for her relationship. And David was sharing quite the opposite, in that he wants to be comfortable enough to, look at these types of things, but it shouldn't be a big deal. It's not like, I hope he's not going to be going through it, trying to investigate and see what his partner has been doing and stuff like that. But David does strike me as very controlling and very unstable as well. He doesn't seem like he's healed as yet from his past relationships. And I don't know if he is right to seek other relationships, because I don't think he's worked completely on himself. Uh, he just strikes me as somebody who's just gotten fresh out of a relationship and is still struggling to deal with the loss of that relationship. And we saw that when David and Liz went on the date, and Liz, of course, and David share that religious background, that faith, that strong religious upbringing. We learned that David had strict parents, and he didn't get his way for a lot of things. Probably didn't have privacy, didn't get to have anything for himself, or didn't get to share a lot of the things people normally deal with at the teenage level, because I don't believe he could have had any girlfriends or anything like that. So that made him turn away eventually from not God but the church. And but he came back. And so I don't know if his upbringing has anything to do with how he approaches relationships, with the privacy thing. And he's thinking, in his mind, he's basically thinking there should be nothing private between like a married couple. Personally, I disagree with that. I feel like there does need to be some privacy, because some things she may want to express herself in certain ways, and she doesn't want you to be just a part of that. And I feel like that's why a lot of couples get lost in each other. It's because they don't have individuality within the relationship. And it's like when it's time to separate, they don't even know themselves, because they never took time to be themselves and to know themselves, and to be away from their partners. Everything was about the partner, everything was about the relationship. And I think it's so important to have your individuality within a relationship. Yes, there should be transparency. However, I do take Stacey's side in that there needs to be privacy as well. Like things that affects certain partners, you need to be transparent about. Things you just want to vent and just deal with on your own, I feel like you should be allowed to be and express yourself privately as well. But he doesn't think that. And Liz is feeling David, and a lot of the values she shares too, because they grew up in similar fashions. And so because you have such a strong religious background and stuff like that, I think that will propel them really far. But when we saw that the women convene with what's his name, Uncle Tommy, Stacy pointed out that like David is somebody she likes and stuff, but in terms of a relationship, they are like just on separate spaces. And like the way she was expressing herself, she made it seem like he was extremely controlling, and I suppose that turned a lot of women off, because of course nobody wants to know or hear that, like your partner wants to be all up in your Instagram, all up in your Facebook, all up in the videos, you know. Nobody wants to. That's a red flag for lots of women. But you know, some people, and the way Stacey said it, and a lot of people caught on to that, she made it worse than it was because she added extra stuff to it. You know, it's like somebody told you a joke or somebody tell you something and you want to make it extra dramatic and extra juicy, so you add extra things on top to make it seem worse. And the way she did that just seemed like she was trying to sabotage him in some regards. Like, I don't know, like, just seemed like the way she said it just would turn a lot of women off, and she said it to turn a lot of women off. But you know, whatever. And then what are we saying? Yeah, so that turned a lot of women off. And we also learned about Troy and his nasty ways, kissing on these women, just being completely sleazy and disgusting. And of course we were all expecting Troy to go home, and he did end up going home, and we're happy for that. David almost went home, because people describe what Stacey, well, assumed what Stacey said was basically because he hasn't let go of his past hurts and stuff. And I really do believe that he hasn't let go, or he hasn't fully healed from the past trauma that he endured. Because he was almost, you know, when he was speaking to Liz about the past relationship where the wife just up and left, he was choking up, and he's like, if this is still affecting you, are you ready to get into another relationship? Are you sure you're not going to be bringing your baggage and your emotional trauma into another relationship? Because that's what it seems like is going to happen. And I hope it doesn't, but that's what it's giving me. It's giving me just emotionally unstable at this point. And Liz so far is not seeing any red flags, so I hope it goes well for her in that regard. um he didn't disclose why the last wife up and left, so we have absolutely no idea. We don't know if it was him, we don't know if it was her, we don't know what the case is. And I think that's a crucial bit of information that I hope he shared with Liz, you know. So anyways, Troy, that's it for Troy. What else do I want to talk about? When Troy was speaking to uh Alexis, it seemed as if Alexis wouldn't mind Troy if he wasn't so messy and sleazy. But since he is, she has to mind, because it's almost like her pride, you know, is wouldn't allow her to just accept somebody that treats other women the exact same way. She thought she was special. She thought she was special and learned she wasn't, and that turned her completely off. And that is why she wasn't with Chris and his mess. But I think if it was something else, she would still be interested in Troy. Did I say Chris? Troy, sorry. Anyways, I think that was it for Ready to Love. Sorry for putting this out so late. I ran out of space. But anyways, you guys, let me know what you think about the cast. Anything I left out, anything you disagree with, let me know. Like and subscribe, and stay tuned for another episode review of Ready to Love. Bye bye, you guys.